A divorce typically causes a lot of turmoil. Even while it may be the best choice, it may not be simple. Your entire life might change in a relatively short period of time, which can be a terrifying, unsettling experience. Here are some ominous divorce statistics to be aware of, not to give more fuel to the fire. Some are fascinating, while others may be best avoided. Hopefully, being prepared can help you avoid common possible risks. A cohabitant's chance of divorce is actually increased before marriage. Cohabitation rates have consistently increased over time as people delay marriage until later in life. Many see this as a sort of marriage dry run, a check to see if the two people are indeed compatible. Although it may appear to be a good idea on paper, long-term divorce rates are actually higher for couples who live together before getting married. The median wedding is less than you think. Traditional wedding vows frequently include the phrase "till death do us part." In practice, though, that's a bit of an ambitious objective. The typical duration of marriages that end in divorce is roughly 8 years. There is some logic to it. This is sufficient time to complete tasks like starting a family, purchasing a home, and experiencing the early honeymoon period. It gives you ample time to try and fix certain issues before realizing you can't. First divorces occur in young age. The number of people who get remarried has grown over time as people live longer, healthier lives. Even while some people wait until later in life to get married, the average age of the first divorce is still only 30. People undergo significant growth and change in their 20s. It appears that after they reach the age of 30, couples frequently discover they have quite different priorities and that it is time for them to part ways. Or perhaps they've just diverged through time. A friendly married parents equals a friendly marriage. It's true that this divorce information isn't very alarming. According to statistics, your chance of divorce decreases if your parents had a successful marriage. Watching a happy marriage might help you find solutions to problems as well as demonstrate that it is achievable. Nobody ever promised that marriage would be simple, but it's helpful to see examples of how to move forward and resolve disagreements amicably. Consider your upbringing as a marriage education. Risks to health after divorcing. While a terrible marriage is bad for mental health, divorce also has a number of negative effects on physical health. Men's risk of hypertension, heart disease, and even cancer is increased after divorce, among other problems. A truly unsettling divorce truth is that men are 8 times more likely to commit suicide after getting a divorce, according to certain studies. Even though it's a difficult time, it's crucial to take care of yourself and seek assistance when you require it. Not just parents are at risk. Divorce puts everyone at risk for health problems, not just parents. Children are vulnerable to mental health problems, including depression and others, which frequently have physical symptoms. According to a recent study, kids who live with both of their biological parents typically have better physical health than kids from dysfunctional homes. That is a frightening divorce truth and a reminder that kids are frequently the most defenseless persons in a divorce. Even though it can be busy for adults, it's crucial to make time to take care of the kids. Most divorces are filed by women. Again, not terribly alarming information about divorce, but nonetheless an intriguing finding given that the majority of our audience is male. Roughly 2/3 of divorce petitions in the U.S. are submitted by women. Although it has changed a little throughout the years, the percentage usually hovers around 70%. The causes of this are contentious. Some claim it's because of custody considerations, while others mention economic ones. Others continue to exert themselves out of convenience or as a result of shifting social mores and gender norms. Unpredictable risks of smoking. We are all now aware of the dangers smoking and using tobacco have on our health. You might not realize it, though, but it can also be harmful to your marriage and other relationships. One study found that the likelihood of the pair divorcing is increased by 75 to 91% if one partner smokes while the other does not. The decision to stop could save your marriage as well as your health. Huge weddings ensure huge divorce rates. For years, many people envision their wedding day. After all, for many of us, it marks an important turning point. But perhaps scale back the size and scope a bit as you imagine the big day. According to research, couples who have lavish weddings run the risk of divorcing more frequently. Fairy tale weddings are not inexpensive. The reality of repaying enormous sums of money sometimes causes tension and conflict in new couples after the honeymoon glimmer fades. You might want to move nearer to your place of work. There is no getting around it. Long commutes are awful. Nobody enjoys being stuck in traffic while waiting for their lane to move and listening to the radio in search of a decent music. It turns out that it might be harmful to your marriage as well. According to a new Swedish study, those who travel for more than 45 minutes have a substantially higher probability of getting divorced. It's difficult to focus on your relationship when you spend the most of the day in a car, bus, or subway, which is a frightening divorce truth. The majority of these alarming divorce statistics are merely statistical notations. You shouldn't assume that just because you fall into one category or another, that's how your situation will develop. For instance, many couples that have lavish weddings refrain from divorcing. And not everyone who ends a marriage allows their health to deteriorate. Nevertheless, these are frequently the case. It could be easier to know what to look for and what to avoid if you are informed of potential issues beforehand. Even while the divorce statistics are frightening, they can still be helpful. It's simpler to steer clear of a trend if you're aware of it. Most couples who divorce in Japan never even have to appear in court. Divorces in Japan are easy, straightforward procedures. A straightforward document must be signed, sealed, and filed as part of the divorce process. This is not difficult, but after the divorce is finalized, several complicated problems could occur. For instance, because joint custody of children is not allowed in Japan, children of divorced parents often spend the majority of their time with one parent and see the other very little. In Japan, it is legal to get married again after a divorce, although there are stricter requirements for women than for men. Men can get remarried right away after a divorce. Women who want to be married again must wait 6 months. Women must also adopt their husband's surnames when they get married, and if they want to go back to using their maiden names after their divorces are confirmed, they must go through arduous legal processes. It frequently feels as though you are wearing blinders when going through a divorce. It is difficult to think of anything other than the procedure and the unpleasant emotions that accompany it. You undoubtedly also consider your children, but the divorce itself taints even these feelings. Your deepest concerns include who will obtain custody of the children, how the divorce will affect the children, and if you will be paid child support. We want to offer you some assistance because we are aware of the mental spiral you are going through. Here are some things about divorce you might not know. We hope that these facts will help you remove your mental blinders and take your mind off of your personal problems. Above all, we want them to give you a sense of community. Another study by Wolfinger in the 2000s indicated that women who had between 3 and 9 sexual partners were actually less likely to divorce than women who had only had 2 relationships, aka their husband and one other person. Most women who had at least 10 partners ended their relationships. In contrast, women who had 2 or 3 sexual partners were more likely to divorce than virgins or women who had at least 10 partners among heterosexual couples who got married in the 1980s and 1990s. The key takeaways from this research, according to Wolfinger, are as follows. If you're going to have comparisons to your future husband, it's ideal to have more than one. For today, thank you for staying with us. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel.